আপনারা দেখছেন সময়ের সাথে, সৌজন্যে মাহবুব অ্যান্ড কো অ্যাকাউন্টেন্টস এবং ইউনিভার্সাল সলিসিটার্স।
Welcome back after break. Dear viewers, we are talking about Tower Hamlets. We are talking about Tower Hamlets' upcoming election, and we are talking with Chris. Chris,
hello there. Yeah.
My next question to you: what's your election manifesto for mayor election, upcoming election? What is the main agenda, main subject?
There's 3 points to my long-term plan for Tower Hamlets. One is focused on sustainable development, making sure that as well as building the houses that are needed in the borough, it's done in a sustainable manner, involving full, open and transparent consultation with all members of the community. So that's saying it's fine to build a house, but is there a road around it that's suitable? Is there access to a doctor's surgery?
Okay.
Are the transport links okay there? So sustainable development is number one.
Yeah. And number two?
Number two is education. And primarily focusing, I mean, I'll be honest, this borough is doing well, areas like GCSE, but as I think was pointed out last week and ongoing, I mean, in A-levels and things it can do better. So focusing on supporting our schools to get better, and as well as facing up to the fact that over the next 10 years there's going to be 14,000 extra pupils coming through our school system just in Tower Hamlets alone. So how are we going to build the schools necessary to do that? I would accelerate the borough's current school development plan and also ensure a plan is in place to support academies and more free schools for our borough. So education is my second area. And the third area is crime. In this area, surrounding boroughs, crime is going down. Tower Hamlets, there's a slight rise there. And again on the doorstep, speaking to members across the whole community, crime is a big feature for people. I was speaking to an elderly resident recently. She got mugged on her doorstep on the way to pick up her pension. Just things like that are really having an impact on the quality of life. So I think issues like names are important for our areas, the gentleman raised earlier, and can cause a lot of emotion there. But I think a lot of these big issues, such as crime, housing, education, are real issues that the mayor should be focused on and can work with residents to deliver a change.
Thank you, Chris. You told us now your second priority will be education, and the present government reduce EMM, means educational maintenance allowance, and which highly affected student of Tower Hamlets. And what do you think about this?
EMA focused on post-16 education. When I was doing my A-levels, I had a part-time job. I worked right across the weekend to help fund my studies whilst I was going through there. So I do have sympathies with people who are struggling to cope sometimes. But I mean, you look for opportunities that you can do. And as I come back earlier, there was a very tough economic situation we've inherited. We have had to take tough decisions, which I know have had an impact on people there.
People,
exactly. But I would say this government has made decisions in other areas of education that are going to benefit. So from September, this Conservative-led government, free school meals for all children in reception, years 1 and 2. And this Conservative government has also introduced the pupil premium to ensure those children...
For all students in Tower Hamlets.
Yes, for people.
And also one thing, just I told you about EMA, they already reduced the present government. And current mayor, Lutfur Rahman, arranged alternative EMA for a college student. That means he's going to give each student £400. You know that everybody appreciate it. What do you think about this?
Well, I would like to see. I mean,
if the budget allows.
If the budget allows.
He's giving already to the student £400.
Yeah, he's entitled to. He's got that. He's obviously promoting that policy to do that. I'm not sure if that's the most effective use for funds actually in this borough on that issue.
If the budget allows.
If the budget allows for it, we would consider it, and I would launch a consultation to ensure to ensure how that would work out. But I do think we need to look at, with resources, limited resources, we need to be accountable for that to the public, and we need to look at where that money is best spent. If it is best spent on EMA substitution, we can look at that. However, I do think we need to have a full look at what is going on here and say, how can we control our budget more effectively? So whilst I have sympathies, I do think there are other priorities as well that do matter to people in this borough.
Do you want to appreciate, Mayor's, this project, alternative EMA project? Do you want to appreciate the 400 pound he is giving each student?
Yeah, it's good, but the thing is that it's good up until your budget is good enough.
Yeah, but already he is arranging this money.
Yeah, he is, but at the same time,
because you know this.
I know, I understand what you're saying. At the same time, he might eat into his reserve. So which one is?
That means you're telling he's giving from reserve.
He's eating into his reserve. Not only for that, but there are other issues.
What about the EMA?
EMA, if as long as you look, giving is the most best thing ever in the world.
Yeah.
The more you can give, the better it is. That's why a lot of people give in their, and as a council, if they can give, why not? As Chris said, when he becomes a mayor,
as a resident of Tower Hamlets, say example, your son or daughter is going to college and the present government reduce EMA and your son or daughter is in trouble, is facing difficulties, and the current mayor arranges alternative way 400 for your son or daughter. Do you?
That is £400 a year.
For each student?
Each student, yes. That is approximately, I think, 20 to 30 pounds a week, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
About 30, if I'm right, yeah?
Near about, yeah.
No, less. Because 30 pounds, 10 pounds is about 520 itself. If it's £10 a week, 52 weeks, that's £520.
Okay.
So it's less.
But at least he's arranging something.
Yeah, every little bit is appreciated.
Intrude here. So as mayor, I get there's an issue there.
Does £10
having an impact. Does it really help you? And I would say actually, the major focus for the local administration should be on jobs and how we can get the avenues for young people into work, so that your education is actually paying. That would be where my focus is, rather, as Ahmed's rightly pointed out, maybe saying you've got some money that isn't going to make much of a difference.
For fish and chips, chicken and chips is going to cost you £10, £2.50 a pop. So that's how is that going to help for a week? But okay, we appreciate that there's something.
To some people.
You know,
thank you, Chris and Mr. Hussain. Can I go, Mr. Razaul? Can you ask the question, please, to Chris?
প্রথমে শুভেচ্ছা জানাচ্ছি এনটিভির সকল দর্শক শ্রোতা সবাইকে এবং বিশেষ করে আপনাকে যারা আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছেন I am Rizal Karim Nidha, reporter Bangla TV. I am many so question, but one is housing problem is big problem. Everyone this is problem solved, but particular this how many your project, how many your
how he can solve this problem, housing problem.
Another one, 3 school meal is a little child. This mayor is year one, but your view, how many years is project? And another one, Brickland is a businessman. Many problem is 11 o'clock is
restaurant close. It's going to be closed.
This is solved, but our communities very suffer this.
All right. So what do you want to open until 12 o'clock or until 11 o'clock?
I don't know, but I ask you question.
My personal opinion on that matter. Yeah. Okay.
The 3 questions
are always good.
Yeah. So
about the housing, first one.
Yeah. Housing first. So this Conservative-led government has provided £77 million worth of funding to Tower Hamlets for housing. What I think we need to do is, at the moment, and the feedback I'm getting right across the borough, is at the moment, what is the actual plan for housing? Is it just knocking them up here and there? I think we need to take a step back and see where development is heading, and also making sure that local people are sharing in the proceeds for this new housing. I believe there's currently 22,000 people on the
close to 25.
Close to 25,000 people on the housing register waiting list. Why is it 50% of new homes are going to people outside the borough? So we need to take a step back, and I would conduct, if I was elected your mayor, a 360-degree view of all housing and development strategy for this borough. To take that step back, see the money that is coming in from central elements, make sure Section 106 money that is sitting in the town hall coffers is getting focused in the right areas, and make sure that local people are sharing in the benefits for housing.
Okay.
If I talk about your second part of that question, which is about the extension of no charge for school meals across all year groups, in 2010 we actually proposed this for our borough. We said we would support that expansion. At that time, the mayor vetoed that. We remain committed in our alternative budget extending free school meals right across year groups up in infant school. And your third point, sorry, I forgot.
Brick Lane restaurant.
Brick Lane
restaurant.
I appreciate, I appreciate the constraint on local businesses there, but we also have to accept local residents do live in that area, and they do get concerned about the noise. Again, what I would say is we're going to have to take a step back there, and I would say actually maybe the economic motives might sort of come to the fore here, supporting local businesses in their development. And what I would do is I would have a 3-month consultation phase, working with local residents who live in the area and businesses to see if we can get a workable solution for all parties.
Thank you very much, Chris. And you're just telling about the housing. I have one question about the housing. And because of bedroom tax, a local, low-income family is on risk of losing home. And what do you think about this?
So you're referring there to the spare room subsidy?
Exactly.
I believe. I would say our opponents, both nationally and at the local level, they've poured a lot of attention to the spare room subsidy. It's a controversial issue out there. The thing is, there is incredible pressure on housing stock. We need to make sure that people are allocated the right spaces. And I would say, actually, there's a lot of hysteria about there. Locally, it was pumped out in the press that 8,000 tenants would have to leave the borough.
8,000 tenants?
Yes, would have to leave the borough, and they would have done so over a recent year. They would have to leave it because of the spare room subsidy. We did a freedom of information request to get to the bottom of this. I can tell you no tenants have had to leave the borough because of a lack of affordable housing. I would say it gets a lot of, it's very emotive, bedroom tax, and tags to a lot of people, and gets a lot of emotions going. But again, I think we need to take a step back and see how it's going.
How you can support these low-income people or poor people about this risk?
Yeah, you're saying there's a risk there. As I said, no residents have had to leave our borough because of it. And I would say actually the real focus should be, why is 50% of new housing going to people outside of the borough? So I would work with local residents to make sure they're sharing in the housing strategy here. And as I said, there would be that 360-degree consultation with all members of the community, so I can work with them to see how we can get them housed and make sure that they are taking part in the full life of this borough. I don't know if Ahmed has anything he wants to add to that.
Thank you very much. Can I ask James? James, can you ask a question, please?
Mine was on jobs and how you would bring prosperity and jobs to the people of Tower Hamlets.
Yeah, okay. So as I said recently, so this Conservative-led government, there were 450,000 jobs, 450,000 jobs created in 2013, with 30.15 million people across the country in work. Yet locally, Tower Hamlets still has some of the highest unemployment rates in the country, and in London indeed, if we're looking locally. Yet we are also home to some of the wealthiest organisations and largest organisations in the country. What I think we need to do is make sure that these people, you've got very many innovative firms as well, they are using the benefits of living in a great area such as Tower Hamlets. And let's not forget, politics can be a bit negative sometimes. This is a great place to live. It's great living with so many different people here and all that sort of thing. They're benefiting from our transport links. They're benefiting. What are they doing to put back into the community? So first of all, I'd work with large organisations and large employers to say, can you work with me on a jobs for growth strategy, particularly focused on young people? And I would also say, as I referenced earlier with regards to the housing, the gentleman's question there, Section 106, which is part of, you know, when new developers come in and they build houses, they have to make a certain stipend and contribution. A lot of this money is just sitting in the town hall's accounts. How can we use that money and unleash that as a force for good for the community, including looking at how jobs and prosperity can develop in this borough?
Thank you.
Do you want me to add on this?
After break, I will discuss about this. Thank you very much, and thank you, Hussain. Dear viewers, we are talking about Tower Hamlets. We are talking about Tower Hamlets mayor election. We are going for a short break. After break, we will discuss again.
আপনারা দেখছেন সময়ের সাথে, সৌজন্যে মাহবুব অ্যান্ড কো অ্যাকাউন্টেন্টস এবং ইউনিভার্সাল সলিসিটার্স।